Hey, I'm going to show you how to use Data Axle, which used to be called Reference USA previously. So this is a free resource to look up business listings, business information, demographical information for businesses anywhere in the U.S. And it's free through the library system. So you'll see here I've pulled up Google. I'm in Forsyth County right now, so I looked up Forsyth County Library. If I go to our library's homepage, and your county may have it laid out differently, so you just have to poke around, but go to Resources, here we go, Resources, and Business. So let's go to Small Business Resource Center, and here's Data Axle. So again, they've even changed the website since the last time I went to this website to get to the landing page. What I suggest doing, so you don't have to go through this little rabbit hole chase every time, is once you get to Data Axle, which is right there, I want to click on that. Once you get to Data Axle, then I would recommend right now that you, at this point, that you bookmark it so it's easy to get back to. Let's see, so I'm already logged in here. I wonder if I can log out. I want to show you. Gosh, I'm already logged in. So to log into your account, I've been using it earlier today, so that's why it's already logged in. And I've never tried to log out before, so I think you time out after a little time. But you'll put your sometimes lengthy membership number for the library in there, and like I said, you'll have to call the library and say, hey, I need to access Data Axle, and I need to establish a PIN number for the account. Can you help me with that? That's what worked for here in Forsyth County, so I'm assuming it's a similar conversation in others. And then once that's established, you've got access. So this is what the page looks like. If you go to U.S. businesses, I haven't really poked around and looked at all this other stuff before. Usually I just go to the U.S. businesses search. So you'll see there's 78 million businesses in the U.S. that are listed. There's Canadian businesses too in here. So there's other interesting stuff I haven't really poked around and looked at. But usually I'll go to U.S. businesses and I'll go to search. So you've got two ways to search up here. You've got a quick search. So if you already know the company name you want to look up and get some information, you can do that. Or you can do an advanced search. And the advanced search is what I want to show you. So let me move myself out of the way here. Okay. So you'll see on the left side here, you've got all these different options. And when you click this, it populates as one of the filters that you're choosing to use, okay? So let's say I want to use a keyword search. Now, SIC and NAICS codes are industry codes for state and federal government. So that's what those acronyms are about. So keyword search, you can also just search, like if I want to look at HVAC companies, I can just put in HVAC and it'll populate options. I'll show you that in a minute. So keyword search, you could use a map-based search, and you see when I click there, it adds it as one of the filters here that I'm going to use for this search. Let's see, I may want to choose the number of employees, the employee rank count, the range of employees that I want. So I've got that on my filters here too. So let's see. So I don't like. Let's just look at this too. Public or private company. So I've added that. Only companies that are publicly owned, and I can also choose only companies that are privately owned. So when I'm searching personally, I just want privately owned companies. The publicly owned companies are too unwieldy to find the right person to talk to for what I do. That's going to be a different story for each of us, right? So anyway, I usually add that on there too. So let's just say I'm looking for HVAC. Let's use that example. HVAC. So if I search that phrase, it will pull up results of all of the industry codes that include that as part of their description. Okay? So what you can do is choose air conditioning contractors and systems, and when you click on this, it'll add it to the selected filters, the selected items that are used for the filter. Okay? So air conditioning contractors and systems, equipment testing. Maybe I don't want manufacturers. I'm looking for like smaller businesses that do this as a service, right? Let's see. Dealers, no. Manufacturers, no. Repair, yes. Renting, no. Maybe I do want suppliers and parts. Yeah, supply parts. Cleaning, yes. Dealers, manufacturers, repairing. So this is household, and this was maybe that's commercial. I'm not sure. Building contractors. Let's find one more to add. Duct systems, sure. So we've added those codes. Now, if I go over here to update the count, you see here at the right top, it will take the count down to only include the ones that have that designation that I've added to the filter so far. So it's now at almost 100,000 businesses, and this is across the country. Okay, so let's say that I want to let's look at the map here. So you can do a zip code search. You can do neighborhood searches, I think even. I usually end up on the map so that I can use that. So what I can do, I'm in North Carolina, so usually I'm looking to start with North Carolina. So if I zoom in a couple of times and come over to North Carolina, let's just say that I'm looking at the Asheville area first, okay? So Asheville is here, and okay, that's about the depth that I want to go here. So I can draw a shape, a specific boundary around Asheville, or I can just define a radius, or I can choose a boundary. So like I could choose a whole state, I think is possible with boundary select. So let's just go do a radius. So you start in the middle. So I'm going to start right here where Asheville is. And you can see the radius count. I'm now at 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, let's say 5 miles around Asheville. Well, actually, that's a mountainous area, and that's a little bit more spread out population when it's mountainous. So let's go to 7 miles just to account for geography a little bit. Okay, so now I've got that, and I go up here and I click Done. Now you see my record count went from 100,000, almost 100,000 businesses across the U.S., and now I put a 7-mile radius around Asheville for this type of business, and it brings up 54 records. Now you'll also remember that I've already clicked on privately held, so that reduced it a little bit probably as well. So let's say I want to work with, or I want to talk to somebody that's got an established business doing this, an established HVAC business. So I might choose 5 to 9 employees for my filter. 10 to 19 would be okay. 20 to 49 would be okay. Much more than that, and it might be too large of an organization for maybe what I'm looking for, you know. All depends on what you're looking for. So I can update the count. That brought it to 31 total businesses. So if I go to view results now, because I've gone through my filters and adjusted them the way I want, now I've got 31 records that'll pop up. 25, I think it's 25. Yeah, 25 to a page. And what I can do is select these and export them as an Excel file. So if I select all on this page, you'll see that 25 records selected. You saw that pop up there. And I go to page 2, which has the remaining few. There we go. Select all of those. Now I've got 31 total records selected. Page 1 and what's on page 2 here. Now I can go over to download. Choose Excel for the format, which is what I use. You could use comma delimited and use that in Excel as well, but I just usually choose Excel. And you can choose a summary, which gives you a condensed amount of information, or you can include or choose detailed, which includes a ton of information, 2/3 of which you will probably delete. That's what I choose to do so that I can kind of be thoughtful of how I want to curate the list, okay? So I choose Excel, I choose detailed, and I download records. So now I've got my records to where I can open it up in Excel. When Excel decides to open, there we go. This will come up any moment. Came up on the other screen, so let's move it over. So now I've got all this information, 31 records, and the heading for what you're looking at. So up here's the heading. Usually what I'll do is color that differently so that it's a little bit easier to read. And I will also, I'll talk about some of the formatting stuff another time. But anyway, so you've got, let me make this larger so it's easier to read. So you got company name, all the companies that we were looking at, the executive's first and last name, if it's in the system, the title, the executive title, the gender, address, city, state, zip code, county, metropolitan area, neighborhood, the phone number. I always keep that around. Fax number I usually delete. Toll free I usually delete. This is you'll see stuff that you don't need in there. It's got some of the websites of these businesses on there, and most of this information is accurate. So what you do after you got a list is you start combing through and then look at Google My Business or go to Google search and search for, if I was going to clean up this list or double check it, I just start with whatever I start with. First Choice Service Group. So I look them up on Google. Actually, let me do that real quick. Let's pull up the Google. What was it called? First Choice Service Group. First Choice Service Group. Yeah, it was in Nashville, so that's the one. So First Choice Service Group, that's a mouthful, Heating and Air, has 42 Google reviews at 4.7, so that's actually pretty good in the industry. And they've got a website here, firstchoiceservicegroup.com with a 1, not spelled out. Is that what's here? Let's look at the First Choice Service Group. So I always double check the email against what Google shows us. I always check the phone number and the mailing address against what Google shows us. So anyway, you can go through and find all kinds of information. I'm going to scroll through kind of quick here and get to where there is some, let's see, this is all code stuff, industry codes. You can take more time. So location, employee, size count, actual. And this is actual per the last data update that they had. So this might be a year or 2 or 3 old, some of this information. But you see this one company has 30 employees, and this company up here has 9 employees. So it gives you what they understand to be the sales volume of the organization, and those numbers are in there. Is it a single location or a branch? So if it's a branch, that usually indicates it's a bigger organization. And I bet that the contact person, let's go all the way back to the beginning here. The contact person, yep, for Ferguson. So, oops. Ferguson Heating and Air is a pretty big company, I know. Usually when it's a branch, you've got the contact information for the manager, not the owner or the president. So if you're looking to talk to the business owner, you need to be aware of that too. Who is actually listed as the point of contact? And if it's a big organization and this is just a branch, there's a high likelihood it's a manager or a general manager or something like that you've got as the contact. So there's tons of information on here. Poke around, and this is what I use to build the foundation of lists in different areas that I'm looking for. So hope that was helpful. Any questions, reach out, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.